71% of freelancers got paid late last year. The average freelancer waits 30 to 45 days from sending an invoice to actually seeing the money in their bank account. And here is the part nobody wants to admit. It is not the client's fault. It is yours. If you let the client dictate net 30 terms with no deposit, no late fee, and no enforcement mechanism, you are literally financing their business operations with your own personal savings. Today, I am going to show you how to negotiate net 7 or net 15 payment terms, structure deposits that protect your cash flow, and add late fees that clients will actually pay. These are the 4 clauses that separate freelancers who get paid on time from those who chase invoices for 90 days. Welcome to the Freelancer's Wealth Blueprint, where we turn freelance income into long-term wealth. If you have ever waited 3 months to get paid on an invoice you sent in good faith, hit subscribe. This video is going to change how you write every contract going forward. Let us start with the default trap. Net 30 became the corporate standard sometime in the 1970s, designed for big companies buying physical goods from each other on credit. It made sense then. It does not make sense for a freelancer delivering digital work to a small business. But because net 30 is the default in every accounting software, every invoice template, and every contract people copy off the internet, freelancers keep accepting it without thinking. Stop. The first rule of negotiation is that the default is whatever you propose. If you send a contract that says net 7, 90% of clients will sign it without comment. Let me break down your options. Net 7 means the invoice is due 7 days from the date of issue. This is the best option for freelancers because it shortens your cash flow gap dramatically. Net 15 is a reasonable compromise that most clients accept without pushback. Net 30 is the default for larger enterprise clients with strict accounts payable processes. Anything longer than net 30, like net 45 or net 60, is unacceptable. If a client demands those terms, they are telling you they want to use you as a free line of credit. Walk away or charge an interest premium. Here is how to actually propose better terms. In your contract, do not write net 30 by default. Write payment due within 7 days of invoice date, or net 7 from date of invoice. If the client comes back asking for net 30, you have a position to negotiate from. You might land at net 15, which is still half the weight of the default. Now the second clause, deposits. 50% upfront is the absolute standard for project work. No exceptions for new clients. The deposit serves 3 functions. First, it confirms the client is serious. Tire kickers do not write checks. Second, it covers your initial time investment so that if the project falls apart in week 1, you have already been paid for the work you did. Third, it protects you from cancellation risk. For projects over $10,000, consider a 30-30-40 milestone schedule. 30% on signing, 30% at the midpoint deliverable, 40% on final delivery. This keeps you in positive cash flow throughout the project rather than waiting for one big payment at the end. The third clause, late fees. Standard practice is 1.5% per month on overdue balances, which works out to 18% annual interest. This is high enough to discourage late payment, but low enough to stay below state usury caps. The late fee accrues monthly on the unpaid balance. So if a client owes you $5,000 and pays 60 days late, they owe an additional $150 in late fees. That math gets attention. But here is what most freelancers miss. A late fee is not enforceable unless 3 specific clauses are in your contract. Clause 1. The late fee percentage and frequency must be explicitly stated. Clause 2. The trigger event must be defined, usually any invoice unpaid more than 7 days past due. Clause 3. The contract must specify which state's law governs the agreement, usually your state. Without these 3 clauses, you cannot legally collect the late fee in court. With them, you can. Now a 4th clause that gets overlooked, kill fees. If a client cancels a project midway through, you need protection. Standard kill fee is 25 to 50% of the remaining project value, in addition to the deposit they already paid. This compensates you for the time you blocked off for their project that you could have been selling to another client. Let me address the elephant in the room. Retainer agreements. If you do recurring work for a client, switch from project invoicing to a monthly retainer. A retainer guarantees a minimum monthly payment in exchange for a defined scope cap. For example, $2,500 per month for up to 20 hours of consulting. This gives you predictable cash flow and gives the client priority access. Most retainers have a 3 to 6 month minimum commitment with 30-day notice to cancel. This single change transformed my freelance business. Now the negotiation script for when a client pushes back. They say, "Our company only pays net 30. You say, "I understand." To accommodate net 30 payment terms, I add a 3% administrative fee to all invoices, since it requires me to carry additional working capital on my end. Alternatively, we can stick with net 7 at the standard rate, which is what I prefer. Watch what happens. About half the time, they will magically find a way to pay net 7. The other half, you collect 3% extra. Either way, you win. A few extra tips. Always require a signed contract before starting work, no exceptions. Use a payment processor like Stripe or Honeybook that can automatically apply late fees on overdue invoices. Send invoices the same day you complete a deliverable, not at the end of the month. And track your aging accounts receivable weekly so you catch problems before they become disasters. Finally, when to walk away. If a client refuses to pay a deposit, refuses net 15 or shorter, or rejects any late fee provision, that is a flashing red sign. Clients who fight reasonable payment terms are clients who will pay late, dispute invoices, and ghost you. Walk away. The money you do not earn from a bad client is better than the money you chase for 90 days. If this helped, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. This content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute tax advice. Consult a qualified tax professional for guidance specific to your situation.